This is News 4 Nashville.
I already know I'm probably going to die, so I'm not going to go down without a fight.
For the first time, the only known survivor of a suspected serial killer tells her story on News 4 Investigates. At the top of the hour, we showed you what News 4 Investigates had uncovered about long-haul truck driver Roy Nelsh.
And why that evidence leads investigators to believe that Nelsh had other unknown victims. There is, to this date, only one woman who police know was able to escape Nelsh.
Our chief investigative reporter, Jeremy Finley, traveled to Orlando, Florida to find her.
Abby Pimentel was already in trouble
My car battery went dead, my phone was dead, everything was dead.
before she was in danger.
It's just like tons of traffic, you know, and you're just sitting there like a sitting duck.
The mother of two found herself stranded on I-24 on May 22nd, 2019, when a semi-truck did a U-turn in her direction.
You know, eventually, Roy Nelsh did pull up behind me and asked me if I needed help, and I said, yeah, I do. I was to the point where I felt desperate.
Desperation would soon turn to fear when she says the man behind the wheel, Roy Nelsh, did not get over at the next exit. She asked him to pull over.
So I grab my purse, I look up at him, and I'm thinking I'm about to say thank you, and he has a gun pointed at me. He said, this is a kidnapping, I'm gonna rape you, get in the back of the truck.
What Pimentel did not know at the time is what investigators would later find inside Nelsh's truck: a bag of bloody women's undergarments, a knife, guns, a stun gun, and a bloody rope. What she did know is that she wasn't going to go quietly.
I already know I'm probably gonna die, so I'm not gonna go down without a fight.
In a later police interrogation, Nelsh says Pimentel threatened to rob him and described what she did next.
She come on loud. She started hitting me and beat me. I jumped back.
We're wrestling for this gun, and he's on top of me, and I have the gun pointed at his face now. I'm on the bottom, he's on the top, and I have the gun pointed at his face, and I pull the trigger, and nothing happened.
It's unclear why the gun didn't fire, but it wouldn't matter because Nelsh would later tell police he had another gun.
Whenever she grabbed the 25 and she's trying to turn around on me, and I reached under and got the 40 and hit her in the head with it.
He just bashed me over the head with it really hard, and I mean, I remember feeling warm liquid pouring down my face, and I didn't know at first what it was, but it was blood.
Then came the handcuffs.
He put my hands behind my back and put handcuffs on me, and at that point I remember thinking, okay, Abby, just comply with what he says, or pretend you're complying at least for right now, because he's gonna get complacent at some point, and that's when you're gonna make your move. You're gonna do something. You're not gonna go down.
She says Nelsh placed a blanket over her using a paper towel on her head wound.
While he was wiping the blood away from my face, I asked him 3 questions. I said, are you gonna kill me? He said, no, I'm just gonna rape you. I said, how long are you gonna keep me for? He said, a few days. I said, are you taking me somewhere scary? And that's the only thing that I could think of to ask, because I kept thinking of those scary movies going through my head, you know, and he's gonna have me in some cage and with all these knives or something and torturing me or something. Like, I kept thinking that way. And he said, no, you're gonna stay in the truck with me. I'm just taking you somewhere isolated.
Now, once again on the highway, she says 2 faces came to mind.
And I would think about my kids, and like every time I would think about my kids' names would go through my head, and I'd just get this adrenaline, like this crazy amount of adrenaline go through my body, and I'd be like thinking, you don't have the right to take away their mommy.
Once a soldier herself at Fort Campbell, Pimentel says she got ready for battle.
First, I had to get my hand out of this handcuff. Honestly, I didn't care if I ripped my whole arm off. I was not going with that guy. I was not going to be raped by him. There's no way.
So how did you do it? How'd you get your hand out?
I ripped it out as hard as I could, as hard as I possibly could, and it hurt, but I didn't care.
Once she was free, she says she had to make a desperate decision: to throw the blanket over Nelsh's head as he was driving on the interstate.
He's all over me, beating on me, kicking me.
Were you driving at that point?
Yes.
When you put the blanket on you?
Yes.
I was absolutely a crazy, savage animal, like fighting for my life. It taught me that I will do anything to survive.
Eventually, Nelsh pulled over, to her surprise, offering to unlock the remaining handcuff.
I remember I jumped out of the semi. I had one shoe on, one shoe off, the other shoe's up in the semi, half a dress on.
He said something to you as you were leaving. What did he say?
He said, I never expected you to fight that much. I've never had anyone fight this much before. I was like, whoa, he's done this before. Like, wow. I thought, who am I dealing with here?
After she flagged down help and gave descriptions to police of the truck, Nelsh was soon arrested. Later, she learned what investigators found in the truck.
The boat rope with blood on it, that was, ugh, like, what on earth was he gonna do to me? That's another question that constantly goes through my head, you know, how was I gonna die that day?
But do you sometimes think about who else has been in that cab with him?
Absolutely, all the time, and I wonder, and it's just, there's not a day that goes by I don't wonder or think about that.
While awaiting trial, Abby Pimentel decided to make a change and move here to the Orlando area. But soon she would get a phone call about Roy Nelsh that she never expected.
I was upset.
Upset because Nelsh had died in prison of acute lymphomic leukemia.
I didn't want him to die yet. I really didn't. I wanted to do the trial first, and I wanted him to be exposed. I wanted him to have to face the world for what he's done. I wanted to know more about what he's done.
Now in Florida, living near her children, Pimentel is trying to live a new life and escape old memories.
I do have nightmares about it. Yeah, there are triggers that remind me of I end up having flashbacks.
All right, after finding Abby in Florida, we would then find ourselves traveling to Alabama when we tracked down the people Nelsh had been calling from prison. Our investigation continues tonight at 10 o'clock. You will hear from a woman who knew one of his darkest secrets. She will share it for the first time tonight at 10.
Jeremy, first off, great reporting. But I got to ask you about the potential other victims. Are they comparing his DNA with other crimes?
Well, that's what we wanted to know too, Marius. So all the TBI will say is that this is an ongoing investigation. But by state law, Nelsh's DNA would have been collected if he had been convicted. Of course, we now know that he had never gone to trial. But if you are charged by state law with a violent felony, you can be ordered to provide DNA. But none of Nelsh's charges fit that definition. So all we know at this time is that they did get his DNA. We're uncertain, though, what they've done with it so far.
Wow.
We'll see. More tonight at 10.
Cannot wait to hear the next chapter. Unbelievable. Thank you,
job.
Jeremy Finley, tonight.